So first things first, I want to say welcome back to the channel. It's always great to see you guys. This time I'm giving you an update about what's going on in Israel today. As you guys may or may not know, Israel just yesterday received over 300 rockets from the Gaza Strip area into the cities across Israel. So that's pretty intense, right? So in this video, I thought I would express to you what it's like for me as somebody who's not originally from here, who's been living here for over 12 years. What an adventure it is to live in this country during times of conflict, because this country is extremely unique in many, many ways. Think about it from a religious point of view, think about it from a demographic point of view, meaning it's a very small country surrounded by a lot of quote-unquote Muslim states. And so there's a lot of conflict happening here and across the Middle East. You guys know that I'm not surprised about any of what happens in the Middle East because it's been conflicting here for thousands of years. But what I do want you to know is my concerns. And the concerns I have the most are for the young adults here in Israel. I've had a chance to, of course, work in various locations with plenty of young men and women in their early 20s. These are the individuals that fill up the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. These are the individuals who go to war. These are the individuals whose lives are threatened when they're out on the battlefields. And these are the individuals that unfortunately experience PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because as of right now, Israel is full-blown in a state of emergency. This means that these young adults and human beings, male and female, up until the age of 40, have a high possibility of being called by the military to return to service in order to go possibly fight a war. That's pretty intense. And if I was a young person in my 20s, I would be stressed out just like these kids are. And those are the victims on both sides. I'm not picking any sides. I think war doesn't have a winner. It's crazy when you think about the game that's being played here. I feel like it's cowboys and Indians. You have the individuals in Gaza shooting little rockets over, hundreds of them, little crummy homemade rockets. And then you have a very powerful IDF just basically bombing the hell out of them after they do it. It's crazy. It's like the Indians shooting bow and arrows and the cowboys with guns. You know who's going to lose. And it's a very interesting dynamic in the society because there's a lot of hatred and a lot of negativity and even more fear that's spread across the country right now. Today, as I'm speaking to you, there's a lot of fear in the air. And hopefully with this video, I can explain to you how insane it is when I'm in an office place and I have young people surrounding me who are very, very negative, energetically speaking, right? And they have a right to be negative. Here's the crazy part and something you might not know. I'll tell you a few things you might not know about what it's like to live through a war in Israel, since you guys may or may not have ever lived through a war. Here's one fact. There's actually announcements theoretically when a war is going to start or when a rocket attack is going to start. So they'll be posting all over the television news, newspapers as well, saying today at 6 o'clock, we received word from people in the Gaza area that they're going to be shooting rockets at us at around 6 o'clock. That's the truth. And as I'm filming this video, it's exactly 6 o'clock. There's a chance that we could hear some sirens going around. And this is terrifying for a lot of people. I don't have fear, but I do have a sensitivity. That's just a siren of a police officer. Don't worry, you're okay. I'm okay. But let's let it pass. There we go. So here's another fact about this thing that you might not know. Very interesting when you're living in an apartment building and above you You hear the effects of war, the explosions, the booms of these rockets, which are being literally blasted out of the sky by something called the Iron Dome. And the Iron Dome is like an anti-missile device where you'll shoot a rocket as it's coming towards a location. So it explodes in the air. Now, these explosions, if you're watching TV, you've seen them on TV probably, but they're really, really loud. And so you hear boom, boom, boom. It's quite startling. It's definitely hard to rest and relax when you hear that. In conclusion, for this very brief update of what's happening today in Israel, I want to tell you, most of you would probably be very, very hesitant right now and might have the urge to tell me, hey, Claude, it's very dangerous in Israel. But the fact of the matter is, I want to say maybe just a few people have died and just a few people have been injured from these hundreds of rockets. And if you were to look into the Los Angeles, Detroit, Washington, D.C. area, you would have many, many more casualties of horrendous crimes. And so, no, I can't tell you that Israel's a dangerous place. I don't feel like my life is in danger here, even during these times. Number one, because there's a really cool anti-missile defense system in place. And number two, the fact is there is not the same level of crime across the country. So if you're thinking about moving to Israel, take everything I said into consideration, because it's the absolute fucking truth. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to the channel. Watch some of the other videos on the channel if you're thinking about moving to Israel. And take care.